Star Wars The Last Jedi has been in theaters for almost 2 weeks, and it is quite possible that every Easter egg, cameo, and Star Wars reference has been spotted. Here's nearly most of the Easter egg, cameos, and references spotted in Episode 8. Hi guys, my name is Jobi-Wan Kenobi, and welcome to a channel in a galaxy far, far away. If you're finding me for the first time, I do Star Wars, Marvel, and DC videos. Hit that subscribe button with notifications on to be on the alert for future videos. So I'm going to separate this video into 3 segments: references to previous Star Wars films and works, Easter eggs, and cameos. And also on a side note, I am sick, so if I sound a little bit different or I sniffle a lot, that is why. So starting with the references, similar to how The Force Awakens has similar story beats to A New Hope, The Last Jedi has several story beats from Empire Strikes Back and also Return of the Jedi. Those story beats being that the main protagonist receives training from an older figure and leaves early from her training to confront the villain. The difference being that Rey receives lessons, not really physical training, and that she leaves to save Kylo and turn him to the light side, not necessarily kill him like Luke was. Rey also sees a vision of sorts when she enters the cave with the mirror, where she sees herself when she asks who her parents are, similar to how Luke saw himself in Vader's mask after fighting a vision of the Sith Lord on Dagobah. As for Return of the Jedi, Kylo betrays Snoke by killing him, just like how Vader betrayed the Emperor and killed him. Although Vader ultimately returned to the light side, Kylo stayed on the dark side. There's also the throne room scene where Rey pulls her lightsaber to attack Snoke, however she fails and gets hit in the end with the lightsaber, revealing that Snoke used the Force to draw it back to him. That moment is also seen in Return of the Jedi when Luke uses the Force to pull his lightsaber to kill the Emperor. Both protagonists endure pain in these moments in different forms. Rey and Kylo share a scene in the elevator, sort of like this scene with Vader and Luke, only Rey and Kylo's scene is a lot longer by like a minute. They also exchange dialogue while in the elevator. Several things in The Last Jedi have alternate versions of previous entities from Star Wars, such as the Praetorian Guards, who do a lot more than just stand and walk like the Imperial Guards. There's also the green milk Luke drinks from a Tala siren, an alternative to the bantha milk or blue milk on Tatooine. And Kylo's TIE silencer, his own personal ship, is quite similar to Darth Vader's TIE Advanced in the original trilogy. Speaking of Kylo's TIE silencer, he spins in the ship, which is a classic move that his grandfather used to do.
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick!
There's also a moment where Kylo enters the crate, the rebel base with stormtroopers, and the shot is angled similar to Anakin's march on the Jedi Temple during Order 66. Chewie flying through the cave of crates alludes to the Falcon flying through the Death Star in Return of the Jedi. Now the next couple of things are sort of in between of it being a Star Wars reference and also an Easter egg as well. So Luke summed up the prequels pretty well and mentions Darth Sidious by name, not just as the Emperor. Before the projection of Luke disappeared when fighting Kylo, Luke says, "See you around, kid," Han Solo being notable for calling Luke kid in the original trilogy. Luke calls a lightsaber a laser sword, a term we've heard several times in Star Wars to describe a lightsaber. R2 plays Princess Leia's message from A New Hope to Luke to force him to change his mind about training a new Jedi. Snoke is capable of using the Force on people from far away. He slammed Hux and dragged him across the floor on the Star Destroyer via hologram. Darth Vader exhibited this ability as well by force-choking Admiral Ozzel in Empire Strikes Back.
Lord Vader, the fleet has moved down to flight speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Speaking of Snoke, he also exhibited Force Lightning once and very fast to electrocute Kylo Ren, an ability notable to the Emperor, but has also been exhibited by Count Dooku. The Battle of Crate is similar to the Battle of Hoth in terms of circumstances. The Resistance is trying to escape the First Order just like the Rebels were trying to escape from the Empire. The planet is also all white, however it's not snow like Hoth, it's actually salt. The First Order used several AT-M6s or Guerrilla Walkers, an upgrade from the AT-ATs, and the Resistance used ski speeders while the Rebellion used air speeders. The term Rebel Scum appeared again when Finn defeated Captain Phasma, and speaking of Phasma, she died, or supposedly died, in a somewhat similar fashion to Boba Fett. only that Phasma wasn't swallowed by a Sarlacc. The suit Finn is wearing while he is unconscious is a Flex Poly Bacta suit, an alternative to the Bacta takes. This is something that I don't think anyone has mentioned, or at least I haven't seen mentioned, but Luke attempting to kill Kylo contrasts Palpatine's story about how he killed Darth Plagueis.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Although Luke contemplated about killing Kylo in his sleep, Palpatine actually killed his master in his sleep. The only difference is that a Jedi Master was about to kill his own apprentice, while inversely, a Sith apprentice killed his master. Last, there are several musical scores from previous Star Wars films mixed into this film soundtrack, the most prominent score being Han and Leia's theme. I don't know about you, but when the bomber ship dropped the bombs, I got a Revenge of the Sith vibe. It was small and subtle, and I'm probably the only person who caught that. But other than that, the TIE Fighter attack theme from A New Hope was mixed when the Falcon appeared on Crate. On the soundtrack, it's the track titled Battle of Crate. There's probably other scores from previous Star Wars films, but these are the ones that I caught. Now on to Easter eggs. There are several Easter eggs that tie into Rogue One. The first being that the First Order could track the Resistance through hyperspace, something that was deemed impossible. However, in Rogue One, when Jyn was searching for the Death Star plans, she read the names of some of the projects the Empire was working on, one of which included Hyperspace Tracking. Hyperspace Tracking was also featured in Star Wars Rebels as a device that would be attached to a ship.
Empire Boshkani Spastika.
He said the Empire can track the ghost.
Oh, please. The Imperials can't follow us through hyperspace. Can they?
Imperial XX-23S threat tracker was developed by Sinar Systems to trace ships through hyperspace to destination.
Snoke's ring contains obsidian mined from Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar, which we first saw in Rogue One. Also, on the topic of Snoke's ring, there are some glyphs on the ring that came from the four sages of Duarte, controversial lawmakers and philosophers from the early ages of the Republic. Chancellor Palpatine had statues of the sages in his office, so it turns out that Snoke is a Palpatine and Vader fanboy, just like how Kylo is a Vader fanboy. Last, Admiral Raddus was featured in Rogue One, however he died, and the Resistance ship that is running out of fuel is called the Raddus in his honor. There are two more tie-ins to Rogue One, but I'll explain the first one in about a minute or so, and the second one when I get into cameos. This next one is a bit interesting, but Luke had a red Kyber Crystal in his hut. Now, people were speculating that this could be Darth Vader's crystal, but the visual dictionary for The Last Jedi calls it a Jedi Crusader pendant, a possible connection to Darth Revan. Before he became a Sith Lord, he formed a faction of Jedi called Revanchists. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but they were also called Jedi Crusaders. Revan is still considered to be non-canonical, however this is like the first major step into making him canon. I guess originally the first major big step to making him canon happened during the Clone Wars series. They were going to feature Darth Revan and Darth Bane, but they were going to appear as ghosts, seemingly pulling the strings for the son in the Mortis arc to turn Anakin to the dark side. These scenes were ultimately cut because Sith Lords could not appear in the form of ghosts after death. George Lucas looked into the matter personally and felt that it would cause continuity errors.
Who are you? You must answer me this time.
We are those who have come before, those who were betrayed, those who hate. We are the wielders of the dark side.
What do you want from me?
We stand before you, disciples of the dark side, intent on its supremacy. It has been foreseen that one lives who will control the universe.
Where?
It is unknown, but know this. The Chosen One is the key. He who controls Skywalker will control everything. We tell you this to guarantee your success.
Luke's X-Wing is spotted underwater, and his green lightsaber only appears in the flashback. If you're wondering where it is, he probably threw it away, like he did when he was handed his father's lightsaber in the beginning of the movie. Finn uses that electro staff to fight Phasma, a weapon that is notable to the stormtrooper who called Finn a traitor in the last movie. Master Yoda returns as a Force ghost. Frank Oz, the original voice for Yoda, returned, and they also used puppetry instead of CGI. Chewbacca is actually played by Finnish actor Jonas Suotomo and not Peter Mayhew. due to back pain. He is credited as a consultant for Chewbacca. Jimmy V was cast back in November of 2015 as R2-D2, seemingly replacing Kenny Baker, and then several months later in 2016, Baker passed away. V played R2 in Episode 7, and Baker was credited as a consultant. The Sacred Jedi text could actually be the Journal of the Wills. The journal is canon because a novel for The Force Awakens opens with a verse from the Wills. Rey snagged the books before Yoda destroyed the tree, so they could return in Episode 9. Speaking of the tree, it's called a Uneti tree, a Force-sensitive tree. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he does have a staff that was made from the wood of that tree. And the Clone Wars had a tree called the Great Tree that grew at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Fragments of that tree, the Great Tree in Coruscant, were taken in a secret Imperial base. However, Luke, along with Poe's mother, Sharia Bay, recovered the fragments. The tree featured in The Last Jedi is probably a piece that Luke took in the comic Shattered Empire. On the topic of Poe's mother, she was a rebel pilot and she fought in the Battle of Endor. She died several years after the battle, and Poe wore a necklace with her wedding ring on it in this movie. And speaking of rings, Rose's ring, the one that she gave to the little boy, was used by members of the Imperial Senate who supported the rebellion. One of the cool things this movie does is introduce new abilities to the Force. However, these abilities have appeared in a similar fashion in non-canonical novels and comics. First, Yoda summoned a lightning bolt to destroy the tree, and this ability is featured in several comics as a Force Storm. Yoda simply summoned a lightning bolt, however, a Force Storm, as it implies, caused a massive storm. It was mainly used by Darkseid users and the Night Sisters. Luke's ability to project his consciousness appeared in the comic Dawn of the Jedi as a Force shadow used by Darkseid users. Holdo comes from the planet Gatalanta. The people there wear plain colored clothes, and her colorful hair is a sign of rebellion to her people's ways and also symbolism that she's a rebel in spirit at a young age. Crate was also featured in Leia, Princess of Alderaan. A-Wings make an appearance in the opening battle. Nien Nunb is also featured, and so is Admiral Akbar, who dies when the Bridge of the Raddus was destroyed.
It's a trap!
Though no one verbally said, "I have a bad feeling about this," BB-8 actually said it in beeps, keeping up the tradition of this line being said in every Star Wars film. A hologram of a TIE bomber and a TIE interceptor was featured when DJ went through the ship's databanks. Han Solo's dice, which was in A New Hope, is featured in this movie as well. Han used the dice to win the Falcon from Lando in Corellian Spike, a similar game to the card game Sabek. Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, plays a larger role in this movie. She appeared in The Force Awakens as more of a background character. She also has 2 buns on her hair, but not in the same style as Princess Leia. Lourd's character has smaller buns that are on the top of her head and not really on the sides. Her hairstyle in The Force Awakens is closer to that of Princess Leia's hairstyle. Now on to celebrity cameos. Rogue One director Gareth Edwards appears as a resistance fighter during the scene where the guy tastes the salt on the ground. In addition, Edgar Wright, his brother Oscar Wright, and Joe Cornish all appeared as rebels as well. Joe Cornish directed Attack the Block, which starred John Boyega. Prince Harry and Prince William, Tom Hardy, and British pop star Gary Barlow were set to appear as stormtroopers, but their footage actually got cut from the final film. Tom Hardy actually had some lines and he recognized Finn. He spoke in a southern accent and said, "I know who you are, FN 2187. Damn boy, I never took you for officer material." Joseph Gordon-Levitt appeared as Slow and Low, the character that got Finn and Rose arrested on Canto Bight. His name, Slow and Low, is a play on words on the Beastie Boys song, Slow and Low. Justin Theroux appeared as the Master Codebreaker. Carrie Fisher's dog, Gary, made a cameo. One of the aliens in Canto Bight was holding him. Warwick Davis, who played Wicket, the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, cameoed as one of the aliens in the casino on Canto Bight, named Woodenbine. Ellie Goulding appeared as a rebel. Michaela Coel makes an appearance on the Resistance Bridge. Several Game of Thrones actors make cameos, such as Kate Dickie, Mark Lewis-Jones, Amira Ghazali, and Patrick O'Kane. I actually thought that James Corden made an appearance in the opening battle when one of the X-Wing pilots was killed, but it's actually Jamie Christopher, an assistant director. Mark Hamill plays a CGI character named Dobie Ska. Hamill requested to Rian Johnson if he could do a motion capture performance, and Johnson agreed. He's the character that stuffed the coins into BB-8. Hamill's children, Nathan, Griffin, and Chelsea all appeared as rebels as well, and this also marks Nathan's second cameo in Star Wars. He first cameoed as a guard in The Phantom Menace. And that's it for this video, but here's my question for you guys. What Easter eggs, Star Wars references, or cameos did you see and or hear about that I may have missed? Leave them down in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for future Star Wars videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and other than that, my name is Jobi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you, and have a marvelous day from the LA to the DC.